Alex, Rafael Nadal feature in Australian Open video. Pay share insights while building anticipation for the season's first Grand Slam. Dubai Filipino tennis prodigy Alexandra Eala continues to make steady strides on the global stage, further underlining her rising stature in the sport. Her growing profile was highlighted this week when she appeared alongside tennis icon Rafael Nadal in a joint video released ahead of the Australian Open, as the pair shared insights while building anticipation for the season's first Grand Slam. The 22-time Grand Slam champion partnered with one of the most prominent graduates of his academy, the 20-year-old Eala, in an emotional exchange that contrasted Nadal's storied history at the Australian Open, where he has claimed 2 titles and made 19 appearances, with Eala's excitement as she prepares for her main draw debut at the tournament. "It's always been a very special and important moment because it's the beginning of the season," said the former world number 1. "The Australian Open has always been ready to make positive changes for our sport. You need to move differently from everyone else. It's important to have your own personality, and then you can find your style." Eala, a former junior world number 1, reflected on her earlier experiences at Melbourne Park, where she captured the junior doubles crown in 2020. "What makes it special for me is the energy of the people. Everyone seems to have so much fun and there's so much diversity," she said. Echoing Nadal's thoughts, Eala added, "Moving differently means being brave, doing things your own way, and not being afraid to be authentic. I've turned movement into one of my strengths and found ways to transform certain weaknesses into advantages." When dreams practice beside legends, a creative feature on Alex, Eala, and Rafael Nadal at the Australian Open. The Australian sun has a way of revealing truths. It exposes effort in sweat, ambition in narrowed eyes, and destiny in the quiet moments between rallies. In a short but powerful Australian Open video, 2 figures share the same frame. Rafael Nadal, a titan of tennis whose legacy is etched into history, and Alex Eala, a young Filipina carving her name into the future. The video is brief, but its meaning lingers far longer than the final shot. It is not merely a meeting of generations. It is a conversation between past mastery and emerging promise. Rafael Nadal moves with familiarity through the courts of Melbourne Park. Every step, every swing carries the weight of experience. He has been here before many times, battling injuries, opponents, expectations, and himself. His presence alone commands respect, as if the court remembers him. For Nadal, the Australian Open is not just a tournament. It is a chapter of his life story written in perseverance and pain, triumph, and humility. Across the net, or perhaps just a few courts away, Alex Eala exists in a different chapter of the same book. She is younger, lighter in step, her racket carried with both confidence and reverence. The video captures her not as a wide-eyed admirer, but as a professional in progress, focused, disciplined, hungry. She does not look at Nadal as a distant idol. She looks at him as proof. Proof that greatness is built, not gifted. Alex Eala's journey to this moment is itself a quiet revolution. From the Philippines, a country where basketball courts far outnumber tennis courts, she has risen through dedication, sacrifice, and belief. The Australian Open video subtly acknowledges this. It does not announce her achievements loudly. Instead, it allows her presence to speak. A calm expression, a measured breath, a young athlete standing on one of the sport's grandest stages. And then there's Nadal. In the video, he is not portrayed as untouchable. He stretches. He trains. He listens. The legend is humanized. This is crucial because legends can sometimes feel unreachable, frozen in highlight reels. But hey, Nadal is flesh and effort. Someone who still works, still prepares, still respects the process. For a young player like Eala, that image is perhaps the most powerful lesson of all. Greatness never stops learning. There is something poetic in their shared space. Nadal, a product of the famed Spanish tennis system and the Rafa Nadal Academy. Eala, one of the Academy's brightest success stories. Teacher and student are not formally introduced in the video, yet their connection hums beneath the surface. The Academy is not just a training ground. It is a philosophy, discipline, humility, resilience, respect for the game. Those values are visible in both. When Alex Eala swings her racket, there's intent, not reckless power, but thoughtful construction. When Nadal hits, it is the same. Different bodies, different eras, but a shared understanding of tennis as something owned point by point. The video does not need dialogue. The language is movement, rhythm, repetition. In one subtle sequence, the camera lingers just long enough to suggest parallel journeys. Nadal, once a teenage prodigy himself, knows what it means to be young on a massive stage. Eala, stepping into professional relevance, understands that talent is only the beginning. The Australian Open is not forgiving. It tests not just skill, but belief, and belief is what connects them. For Nadal, belief carried him through injuries that threatened to end everything. For Eala, belief carried her across oceans, cultures, and Rod Laver Arena had witnessed miracles before. Comebacks carved from desperation, champions crowned at dawn, tears soaking the blue court like rain after a drought. Yet on this particular Melbourne night, the stadium hummed with a different electricity, an anticipation so sharp it felt as if the air itself were holding its breath. Two names echoed across the stands, unlikely companions in the same sentence. Rafael Nadal, Alex Eala. One was a legend sculpted from clay, sweat, and relentless willpower. The other, a rising star from a nation still carving its place on tennis's grandest stages. This was not just a match. It was a collision of eras, dreams, and belief. The weight of a legend. Rafael Nadal walked onto the court first, the familiar ritual unchanged. Sleeveless shirt, intense gaze, the practice tics that had become part of tennis folklore. He was no stranger to Melbourne's unforgiving heat or its brutal 5-set marathons. The Australian Open had tested him, broken him, and crowned him, sometimes all in the same tournament. To the crowd, Nadal was history in motion. Every step carried memories, impossible forehands, fists clenched in triumph, knees bending under the weight of time yet refusing to surrender. And yet, as he glanced across the net, something new flickered in his eyes. Curiosity. The arrival of a dream. Alex Eala stepped onto Rod Laver Arena with a calm that belied her years. The Philippine flag rippled across the stands, waved by fans who had stayed awake through time zones and disbelief. For them, this moment already felt unreal. She had grown up watching Nadal on grainy screens and highlight reels. His grit, his left-handed thunder, his refusal to lose even when logic demanded it. At the Rafa Nadal Academy, she learned not just how to hit a ball, but how to fight with it. Now, the student stood across from the master. Her racket trembled only once, then steadied,